the narcissist warned you. Mid-range. In certain instances, the narcissist actually warns you of what is actually going to come. The narcissist does not sit there and go, "Hello, I'm a narcissist and I'm going to manipulate you till you burst." No. But in certain instances, the narcissist actually does foreshadow what is to come, to provide you with little glimpses of the reality of what the narcissist is. This, of course, confuses people, because they think, this must be an aware narcissist. He told me beforehand what was going to happen. He told me about what he was, not so much using the word narcissist, but with reference to the way that he behaved, the problems that he causes, the damages that he creates with the relationships with other people. He must be self-aware. No. A greater or ultra wouldn't sit there and tell you what they were. That is what an idiot would do. That is the transference of control and power, and therefore that would never be done. Of course, I can tell all of you listening what I am, but none of you know who I am, and therefore it does not impact upon my ability to control in my private life. But I would never sit down with anybody in my private life and confess to what I am, or to give them indication of what it is that I do. That would be moronic. A mid-range narcissist, however, guided by his narcissism and unaware as to what he is doing, will play upon inherent aspects of his narcissism. As you know, mid-range narcissists, be they lower, mid-range, middle mid-range A, middle mid-range B, or upper mid-range, are passive-aggressive in varying degrees. They use pity plays. They look for sympathy. They portray themselves as potentially being broken, damaged, lacking in some way. Perhaps it's just as simple as being misunderstood, that people don't get them, that they can't help but have difficult relationships, and that they try their best to resolve them, but it never seems to work. What is happening here is when the narcissist tells you a little about what they actually are, the narcissist is not that set there thinking, this is fun, I'll give them a glimpse of what I am, ha ha, aren't I clever? No. Here is what is happening. The narcissism determines that in order to assert control over the appliance that the narcissist is dealing with, that some little glimpses of the narcissist's actual behaviour, rationale, conduct, can be provided, not in that moment to tell them precisely what they are, but as a means of provoking a reaction. It might be fright, but more usually, particularly when mid-range, it is done for the purposes of engendering sympathy, to test instinctively how the seduction, how the assertion of control is progressing, to see if the appliance backs off, or whether they are drawn closer by this revelation. Understand, the narcissist is doing this instinctively when it is done by a lesser or mid-range narcissist. The narcissism basically says, in order to control this person in the now and continue to bring them under control, perhaps with regard to making them the intimate partner primary source, we will give away a little bit of what we are in order to see what the reaction is, to assert control in this moment and draw them in as a whole. This action is taken instinctively by the narcissist because he doesn't know what he is, and he does not sit there thinking, I'm going to tell her that I hurt people because I know that I do and I'm a narcissist, but I'm just going to do it to see how she reacts, to test the control. No, the narcissism does it on behalf of the narcissist as a means of continuing to control that appliance. What's also happening is that there is the creation of a collateral consequence. By saying all of these things at the outset of the relationship, at a later juncture, months or years down the line, the narcissism, when it needs to control at that point in the future, is able to bring up the past and say, in effect, I told you so. I warned you about what I was like. You can't complain now. I told you that I behaved this way. You had fair warning. You have to put up with it. And so here is an example of such a conversation whereby a mid-range narcissist is talking to an intimate partner, secondary source, most likely now at the candidate stage, and starts to reveal a little bit of the true nature of the narcissist. But this is not genuine disclosure that is being provided, but instead is part of a continued unwitting manipulation by the narcissist. The narcissist starts speaking first. You know, you really shouldn't get involved with me. I am damaged. Well, it's a little bit late for that, isn't it? I'm already involved. I know, and I'm glad to hear you tell me that. Really, I am, because I want you more than anything. I have not wanted anybody else in the way I want you, but it is because of that. I think you would be better off without me. Don't be silly. What do you mean by that? You're so wonderful, so perfect. I truly have not met anyone like you. It is as if everything I have ever wanted and needed in somebody has been put together and rolled into one. That's lovely of you to say, but I'm not perfect, far from it. To me you are. Bless you. That's so sweet. I think you're wonderful too. Not at all damaged. I can't believe you said that. Well, I am. Not from where I'm sitting. You are incredible, thoughtful, loving, attentive, interesting, sensual, and so passionate. Those are just a few of the things that spring to mind when I think about you. What else? Oh, let me see. Generous, yes, generous and kind, considerate and successful. Entertaining as well. I don't think I know anybody who can light up a room like you do. I love to watch you when you have everybody's attention. I can see how much they love to listen to you. No, you're just saying those things to make me feel better. No, not at all. I mean every word. I really do. I haven't met anyone as special as you, and that is why I love you as I do. You shouldn't. I don't mean to be rude, but you'll only get hurt. How? By you? Yes. How? I don't know. I just always seem to mess things up. It may sound strange, but sometimes I want to think, I kind of know it should work with you more than anybody else. I suppose I'm just terrified that what we have is so wonderful, so perfect that I might do something to ruin it, and then you'd be hurt, and I couldn't stand for that to happen. You see? There you are again, considerate and kind. I couldn't live with myself if I hurt you, and I just don't want to run that risk of that happening. You don't deserve to be hurt. That won't happen, I can feel it. What you and I have is something out of the ordinary. Yes, we have, haven't we? Absolutely. I love you, and you love me, and nobody's going to change that. I know. But what if, I do something? Like what? I don't know. It's just that, previous relationships have not exactly been successful, have they? My track record isn't that great. No, but that wasn't your fault, was it? Look, you told me all about what has happened in the past. Not many men would be so honest as you to admit to what you have gone through. That takes real courage, and is typical of the honesty and decency you exude. You are a good man, and you have been treated abhorrently by some wicked people. Oh, if I ever meet them, I don't know what I would do to them. I knew you would understand. You always do. You get me. They never did, you see. I tried, I always tried to make it work. I just wanted both of us to be happy, but when whatever you do is not enough, when no matter how hard you try to please somebody, but they always find some kind of fault. That was them. They made me feel like it was my fault a lot of the time. They had that way of twisting everything around, so I was made out to be the villain. It's hard to explain it, but that's what they did. I understand. There are some people who just delight in the misery of other people, but that's not going to happen with you and me. No? No. We have both suffered previously. I know. That is why I don't want to hurt you. You have had enough from the past, and you deserve to be treated properly. Well, that's what you do. I couldn't ask for a better boyfriend. I really couldn't. You put me first, ahead of everything, and you do so much for me. I really do appreciate it, and each day I feel more and more in love with you because of what you do for me. Thank you. That's all I want, both of us to be happy. I think it must just be because of what has happened in the past. I'm worried that this time, having found you, it will go wrong again, and you will be hurt, and I cannot live with that. Honestly, there's nothing to worry about. You've just been made to feel like this because of what they've done to you. It's understandable. I know you won't hurt me. How could anyone who says these things hurt me? I've never had someone say the wonderful and beautiful things you say to me before. You leave me in tears. Tears of happiness, admittedly, because you just know what to say. You understand me. Yes, there is a connection, and it's deep and meaningful, and I do not want that ever to be severed. I will fight to my dying breath to stay connected to you. I want to become you. See? There you go again, saying the most wonderful things. You bring it out in me. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what I'd do. Well, you don't have to wonder, do you? You've got me, and you always will have. Do you mean that? Absolutely. You see, I really am in heaven whenever we kiss. I don't ever want to hurt or lose you. That will never happen. You have me forever. I hope so. I really do. You do? Now, let's not have any more talk about you hurting me. That isn't going to happen. We have the rest of our lives to be together and be happy. Let me get another bottle of wine. No, it's my turn. You stay there. You do enough running around after me. Let me do something for you for a change. Okay. Same again, please. Coming right up. I love you. I love you too. And there we have it. The interaction whereby a mid-range narcissist is in effect warning the victim about what was going to happen. That he was damaged, that he would cause problems, that it always seems to be his fault, that the relationship has ended. And of course, this is just part of a manipulation to assert control by drawing sympathy and support from this victim. And of course, at a future time, this can be thrown back in her face. You'll notice the various manipulations that are utilized: pity play, false compassion, false contrition, triangulation, provocation, blame shifting, projection, ownership, objectification, compartmentalization. The various dynamics and manipulations are contained within there, all typical of a mid-range narcissist. You will have also noticed from the response of the victim that her emotional thinking is extremely high. She, of course, has been involved with the narcissist for a period of time, spending time communicating, doing things in relation to him, thinking about him, talking about him. So she is now blinded by that emotional thinking to the various red flags that appear there. All she does is reassure. She doesn't question why the relationships previously have faltered. She accepts the explanation that it wasn't his fault, that he always tried. She doesn't spot the language that is being used that demonstrates his mindset of ownership, of objectification. She doesn't understand that this is a mid-range narcissist that is drawing her in. Her responses are all where she has been completely taken in, that she's completely in love with this supposedly wonderful individual, falling for the veneer that has been demonstrated towards her as part of those benign manipulations. Here, the narcissist was telling her, instinctively, as part of an unaware manipulation, that he is somebody that causes problems and has difficult relationships. But it is framed in such a way as to make it seem as if he's only telling her because he's worried about what might happen, not that he's going to intentionally cause it to occur, and that demonstrates the unawareness of the mid-range narcissist. Listen again to this example, and as you work through it, see if you can identify the various manipulations that are being spoken of to hone your narc hunting skills. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.